Most men don't lose confidence because of one big failure. They lose it in small, invisible ways. Tiny habits, silent mistakes, and unconscious beliefs that chip away at them day after day. This video exposes those hidden traps. The goal is simple: make you aware of what's draining your confidence so you can cut it off and rebuild yourself into a sharper, stronger version of who you already are. If you're ready to stop sabotaging your potential, lock in, watch until the end, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. You wake up, grab your phone, and before your brain even fully switches on, you're already losing. Not because someone out there is better than you, but because you willingly walk into a mental battlefield unprepared. Every swipe hits you with curated perfection: men with six-packs, luxury cars, perfect relationships, massive success, and smiles that hide whatever demons they're fighting off screen. You see all that, and your mind quietly whispers, "You're behind." And you don't even realize that whisper is killing you slowly. The comparison loop is invisible. It feels harmless, just checking what's going on. But every time you measure your raw, unfiltered life against someone else's highlight reel, you chip away at your own confidence. You judge your progress by someone else's timeline. You judge your grind by someone else's results. You judge your worth by someone else's display. It's a battle you can't win, because the game was rigged before you even started. You scroll past a guy your age buying a house, another guy your age getting married, another guy your age traveling the world, another guy your age hitting millionaire status. It all stacks up in your head until you start believing the lie: if they set her ahead, I must be behind. But life isn't a race. There's no finish line, no scoreboard, no referee, yet you treat it like you're losing at something you didn't even choose to compete in. You forget that people only show you the final outcome, never the nights they cried, the months they failed, the years they suffered, the times they doubted themselves. You compare your internal chaos to their external presentation, and that's why you lose. That tiny voice convincing you that you aren't enough is exactly what keeps you stuck. You hesitate more, you doubt more, you move slower, you stop taking risks. You start thinking your own goals are too far away. You begin living reactively instead of aggressively. You shrink yourself while lifting up people you don't even know. It's mental self-sabotage, and most men walk straight into it every damn day. Confidence isn't built by looking at what other men are doing. Confidence is built by looking at who you were yesterday and deciding you're going to beat that version. Not the millionaire on Instagram, not the dude with abs, not the guy with the big following. Just you, the man in the mirror, the only opponent who actually matters. When you finally understand that your timeline is yours alone, everything changes. The desperation fades, the jealousy dies, the pressure lifts. You stop chasing someone else's life and start building your own. And that's the moment your confidence starts coming back. Quietly, steadily, powerfully. The endless comparison loop only ends when you decide it ends. The world isn't stopping you. Other men aren't stopping you. The algorithm isn't stopping you. It's you comparing yourself to ghosts. Break that habit, and you stop destroying your confidence. Break that habit, and you finally start becoming the man you were supposed to be. Most men don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they shrink themselves. They speak quietly, avoid bold moves, and act small to avoid standing out. There's a silent fear lurking behind every understated word, every hesitant gesture, the fear of being judged, of failing, of being seen. So they tuck their strengths away, dim their light, and settle into the background hoping no one notices. They downplay achievements. It's nothing, they say, when inside it was everything. They avoid opportunities that challenge them because the idea of being visible is scarier than being invisible. They play safe in conversations, in careers, in relationships, and in life, believing that staying small keeps them safe. But safety is a lie. Safety is stagnation. Safety is surrender. Shrinking yourself is subtle, almost invisible. It starts with small choices, letting someone else take the lead, not sharing your ideas, leaving your voice unheard. Over time, these choices compound until you no longer recognize the man in the mirror. He's the same man with the same potential, but he's quietly trading ambition for comfort, courage for approval. This habit doesn't just destroy confidence, it erodes identity. The man who shrinks becomes a stranger to himself. He convinces himself that he's not worthy of recognition, success, or respect. He forgets that the world respects those who take up space, who are unapologetically themselves, who refuse to whisper when they should roar. Confidence doesn't grow in the shadows. It grows when you stand tall, when you occupy your space fully, when you stop apologizing for ambition or desire. It's in walking into a room and owning your presence. It's in speaking up even when your voice shakes. It's in taking risks that others avoid. Every act of self-assertion pushes the habit of shrinking further away. Taking up space doesn't mean being arrogant or reckless. It means acknowledging your worth and refusing to hide it. It's showing your skills, sharing your vision, embracing your strengths, and demanding without saying a word that the world sees you. The men who shrink themselves live a life half-lived. They settle for scraps while bigger opportunities pass by. They envy men who dare to grow, men who take risks, men who are unapologetic in the pursuit of their dreams. You don't have to envy. You can choose a different path. Confidence is loud when it matters, quiet when it doesn't, and unshakable in its foundation. But it only comes when you stop shrinking. Step into your space. Speak your truth. Act like the man you were meant to be, and the world will adjust. Shrink no more. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop minimizing your life. Stop pretending you don't want more. The habit of shrinking yourself is a habit of death for your potential. Break it, and you start living at the level you were built to live. Most men underestimate one brutal truth. Confidence is built in the body before it ever reaches the mind. You can read every book, watch every video, and repeat every mantra. But if your body is weak, sloppy, and mismanaged, your mind will betray you. It's impossible to feel unstoppable when you carry yourself like a shadow. Your posture slouches, your movements are slow, your energy is flat, and the world can sense it before you even open your mouth. Every day you ignore your body, it ignores your potential in return. Junk food, mindless scrolling, late nights, skipping exercise, they chip away at the man you could be. You wake up tired, your focus is shot, your mood is low, and every small setback feels like a mountain. It's not just physical decay, it's mental erosion. Your confidence doesn't stand a chance against a body that isn't respected. And yet, it's so easy to ignore. The excuses are endless. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too busy. It's not that bad. But the truth, every day you delay training, every meal you compromise, every hour of sleep you skip is a deposit in the account of weakness, one that compounds faster than you think. Masculinity and strength are inseparable. You don't just think like a confident man, you move, breathe, and stand like one. Every rep in the gym, every run, every disciplined meal, every early night rewires your identity from the outside in. You begin to carry yourself differently. Your posture straightens, your shoulders widen, your chest expands, your energy levels rise, your gaze becomes sharp. The way you move in the world announces your confidence before you even speak. This isn't about vanity. It's about survival in a modern battlefield. Weak men are invisible. Strong men command respect. Men who ignore their health and physique live in the shadows of those who honor their bodies. You don't need a six-pack to prove yourself, but you do need strength, functional, undeniable, visible strength, to match the man you want to be. Sleep, nutrition, movement, recovery, these are not optional. They are the foundation of the warrior's mindset. A man who trains consistently, eats intentionally, and respects his body rewires not just his muscles but his very confidence. He doesn't just look powerful, he feels it radiating from every step, every gesture, every decision. Remember, your body is the vehicle for your life. Neglect it, and your ambitions stall. Invest in it, and your potential becomes visible, tangible, unstoppable. Stand tall, eat clean, train hard, sleep like a predator. Your mind will follow your body, and your confidence will rise to match the strength you carry. Ignore your body, and the world ignores you. Respect your body, and the world steps aside. The choice is yours, but the cost of inaction is heavier than you think. Their quote says a subtle poison that kills men quietly. The endless chase for validation. You don't even notice it at first. It starts in small ways. Laughing at jokes you don't find funny. Agreeing with opinions you secretly despise. Posting carefully curated versions of yourself online. Tailoring your actions so that others feel comfortable with you. Every compromise feels minor, but each one chips away at the foundation of who you are. Before you know it, the man in the mirror is a stranger, hollowed out and anxious for approval. Validation is seductive because it gives instant gratification. A compliment, a like, a nod, a smile. It floods your brain with dopamine and makes you feel accepted, even important. But here's the brutal truth. Those fleeting moments of being liked do not build strength. They are hollow victories. Every time you bend yourself to be accepted, you trade a piece of your authenticity for a temporary high. Confidence shrinks, self-respect dwindles, and ambition loses its sharp edge. Men who chase validation do so at the cost of their own growth. They avoid confrontation, dodge uncomfortable truths, and suppress their instincts just to be palatable. They weaken themselves in subtle ways, saying yes when they mean no, hiding opinions that could offend, avoiding risks that could earn real respect. They confuse being liked with being respected, and that confusion is deadly. Respect is not given for smiles or nods. It is earned through integrity, strength, and consistency. Standing firm in who you are is uncomfortable. Yes, it will upset people. It will challenge relationships. It will push some away. But this is exactly what separates men who are powerful from men who are powerless. Respect cannot exist without boundaries. It cannot exist if you are constantly bending to the will of others. A man who seeks validation will be followed by anyone willing to humor him, but he will never lead, never inspire, and never stand tall in his own right. The world doesn't owe you applause. Your partner doesn't owe you praise. Your friends don't owe you approval. The moment you realize this is the moment you stop performing for the world and start building for yourself. True confidence is silent. It doesn't ask for recognition. It radiates from a man who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it. Chasing validation is a lifelong trap, one that makes men anxious, frustrated, and hollow. Respect, on the other hand, is magnetic. When you live with unwavering principles, hold yourself accountable, and refuse to diminish your standards, people can sense it. They may not always like it, but they will respect it, and respect carries far more weight than temporary approval ever will. Stop bending. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop performing for others. Stand firm in who you are, in your values, in your ambitions. The moment you do, you stop chasing fleeting approval and start commanding lasting respect. This is the difference between a man who fades into the background and a man who leaves a mark, one that no one else can erase. Validation is cheap. Respect is priceless. Choose wisely. Your environment is silent. Yet it wields more power over your life than almost anything else. It shapes your thoughts, molds your habits, and either amplifies your strength or erodes it slowly. Men often overlook this truth. They believe they're making independent choices, but in reality the people they spend the most time with dictate the limits of their ambition. Your circle either sharpens you or softens you, and if you choose the wrong one, you're handing your potential to others on a silver platter. Think about it. If you surround yourself with men who complain more than they act, who settle for mediocrity, who lack discipline, who avoid responsibility, and who are timid in the face of challenge, what do you absorb? Weakness, laziness, fear. Every conversation reinforces excuses. Every gathering normalizes mediocrity. Every shared moment teaches you that good enough is the goal. Slowly, imperceptibly, you adopt the same patterns, the same compromises, the same habits, and before you know it, you're just another face in the crowd of men who never achieved their potential. Confidence cannot thrive in a swamp of weakness. It dies when you surround yourself with men who don't push you, who don't challenge you, who applaud your safe choices instead of your bold ones. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into believing that staying where you are is enough. But comfort is a trap. It's a cage disguised as security. While you rest, the world moves forward, and you stagnate. The opposite is also true. Pressure is fuel. When you're around men who demand excellence, who hold you accountable, who openly challenge your ideas, your habits, your mindset, you rise. Every uncomfortable conversation, every critique, every moment of friction strengthens your backbone. You learn to stand taller, speak sharper, think faster, and act decisively. This is how confidence grows, through challenge, through discomfort, through confrontation with your own limits. Changing your environment isn't easy. It means leaving behind friendships, habits, and even family dynamics that no longer serve you. It means seeking out men who embody what you want to become. It means spending more time in rooms that challenge you, in conversations that push you, in workouts that break you before rebuilding you stronger. It means discomfort, pressure, and friction, the very things most men avoid. But the payoff is enormous. Surround yourself with high-performing, disciplined, ambitious men, and you begin to mirror their intensity. You stop apologizing for your ambition. You stop shrinking to fit mediocre spaces. You begin to expect more from yourself and everyone around you. You raise your standards, and suddenly the weak environments no longer feel tolerable. You've outgrown them. Remember, you are the average of the 5 men you spend the most time with. If they are weak, timid, lazy, and complacent, you will be too. If they are strong, disciplined, ambitious, and relentless, you will rise to meet them. The choice is simple but brutal: stay in comfort and fade into mediocrity, or embrace pressure and become the man you were born to be. Comfort kills, pressure fuels. Choose wisely who and where you spend your energy. Your environment will either crown you or crush you. There is no middle ground. Most men are addicted to the illusion of progress. They love to talk. They announce their plans, declare their goals, share their visions, and boast about what they will achieve, all while doing very little to actually make it happen. There's a rush in speaking as if you've already conquered the world. Your ego inflates, your chest puffs out, and for a brief moment your mind feels victorious. But here's the brutal truth. Talking never builds strength, and it never builds respect. It builds nothing but a false sense of accomplishment. Every word you spill about what you plan to do is a trap. The brain hears it, registers it as achievement, and releases the satisfaction chemicals that come with success. You feel the confidence spike, the validation of action, but you haven't lifted a finger. You're tricking yourself. Over time, this becomes a habit. The more you talk, the less you actually act, and the farther away you drift from real results. Men who act silently and consistently are invisible at first. They don't feel the need to explain their every move. They don't announce their progress or seek applause before the work is done. They grind while others brag, and when results appear, the world notices. Their presence alone commands respect. Silence paired with execution has an impact that words can never match. Talking too much also invites unnecessary judgment. When you broadcast your goals before doing the work, people watch, waiting for failure. They are ready to dismiss, criticize, or mock you at the first slip. Every unfulfilled promise chips away at your credibility, and men who fail to act consistently lose the respect of those who might have supported them. In the world of real achievement, the loudest men are often the weakest because they've spent more energy inflating their image than building it. Execution builds confidence because it is undeniable. You can measure it, see it, feel it. You lift the weight, you close the deal, you finish the project. There's no shortcut. The work is proof. The results speak for themselves. Every action reinforces your self-belief, sharpens your mindset, and proves to the world and to yourself that you are capable. This kind of confidence is unshakable because it's earned, not imagined. There's a subtle power in quiet men who act. You feel it in their eyes, their posture, their tone. You sense their dominance, not because they talk, but because they do. Their reputation grows silently. Their influence expands without effort. And when they finally speak, the world listens, because their words carry weight. Weight forged by results, not promises. The lesson is simple but harsh. Stop trading words for action. Stop feeling satisfied with your own hype. Stop performing for validation, and start performing for results. Execution is the ultimate confidence builder, and silence amplifies its power. A man who talks less and acts more doesn't just gain results, he becomes untouchable. Bragging may earn attention temporarily, but action earns respect permanently. If you want to build real confidence, the path is clear. Speak less, do more, and let the world measure you by your results, not your words. Confidence is not promised, it is earned. Every action compounds. Every unbroken streak of follow-through cements your identity as a man of power. Talking may make you feel like a man, but acting makes you one. Fear is subtle. It doesn't always roar. Most men mistake it for logic, for prudence, for careful thinking. They tell themselves they're being smart when in reality they're terrified. Terrified of failing, terrified of looking weak, terrified of stepping outside the comfort zone that quietly suffocates them. Fear disguises itself in rationalizations. It's not the right time. I need more experience. Maybe it's too risky. But underneath all the reasoning is one undeniable truth. They are scared. Every decision made from fear shrinks you. Every risk avoided chips away at your potential. Every time you let fear dictate your choices, you hand over control of your life to an invisible enemy. It whispers constantly, convincing you that safety equals success, when in reality, it guarantees mediocrity. The longer you listen, the smaller you become. You may survive, but you'll never thrive. You may exist, but you'll never leave a mark. Fear is comfortable in its deception. It makes you believe that avoidance is smart, that hesitation is wisdom, and that safety is power. But real strength is forged in the moments your hands shake, your heart pounds, and your body wants to flee. Real confidence doesn't come from avoiding the storm. It comes from walking into it with clenched fists and unshakable resolve. Every step taken in spite of fear is a brick in the foundation of a man who refuses to be weak. Look at men who succeed. Every risk they took, every gamble, every challenge they faced, scared them. Their confidence wasn't born overnight. It was earned in the crucible of fear. It was built in moments when failure loomed large, when ridicule was a real possibility, and when the easy path would have been to back down. They acted anyway, and every action in spite of fear made them stronger, sharper, and more commanding. Fear distorts reality. It makes challenges seem impossible, obstacles insurmountable, and rejection unbearable. It convinces you that inaction is safety when it is, in fact, death for your potential. Confidence isn't about feeling unafraid. It's about moving forward despite the fear. The man who feels fear acknowledges it, and acts anyway is unstoppable. To stop letting fear control your decisions, you must train your mind to distinguish real danger from imagined threats. You must embrace discomfort as the currency of growth. You must step into situations that terrify you, knowing that trembling hands and a racing heart are signs that you are on the path to becoming more than you were yesterday. Fear will always exist. It will never vanish completely. The key is not to be fearless, but to refuse to surrender to it. Letting fear guide your choices is the fastest way to erode your self-respect and crush your confidence. But facing it head-on every day builds a man who moves through the world with authority, certainty, and undeniable presence. The next time your instincts scream to back down, remember this: the hand that shakes most often holds the strongest grip. Confidence is not for the safe, the timid, or the comfortable. It is for men who stare fear in the eye, step forward anyway, and refuse to let it define them. Fear is a liar. Action is the truth. And every time you choose truth over fear, you become the man you were meant to be. Comfort is a trap disguised as luxury. It whispers sweet lies into your ear. You deserve this, relax, you've earned it. Take it easy, life is stressful enough. And for a while it feels good. The couch cushions cradle you. The routine protects you. The predictable path makes the world seem harmless. But that comfort is slowly killing you. Every day you choose ease over challenge, safety over growth. You dull the sharp edges that make a man powerful. Men lose confidence not in battle, but in boredom. Not in the face of defeat, but in the absence of struggle. A life without friction, without obstacles, without real pressure is a life where confidence dies quietly. Easy routines, soft habits, and predictable days numb your instincts, weaken your mind, and shrink your identity. You convince yourself that comfort equals security, but in truth, it's the silent assassin of potential. The problem is that comfort feels safe. It makes you think you're doing well. You have your routines, your habits, your predictable life, and you assume everything is under control. But this is an illusion. Confidence isn't born from routines. It's forged in moments of challenge, struggle, and deliberate discomfort. Every time you stay in the easy lane, you shrink a little. Every avoided struggle dulls your courage. Every step away from discomfort is a step away from becoming a man who can command life, not merely survive it. Purpose is found in the uncomfortable. Growth lives where fear, risk, and challenge intersect. The moment you choose the path that is harder, the path that tests your limits, the path that makes your body ache, your mind strain, and your heart race, that is when confidence expands. That is when self-respect is earned. Choosing comfort is the opposite. It numbs you to your potential and robs you of the man you could be. Look at men who achieve greatness. They don't live for comfort. They wake up early when the world sleeps. They push their bodies to exhaustion, their minds to strain, their spirits to the edge. They seek situations that challenge them, that scare them, that demand more than they think they can give. That's why they stand taller, speak stronger, and move through the world with authority. Their confidence is born in battle, in discomfort, in struggle, not in routines or soft living. Relying on comfort as a lifestyle is subtle self-sabotage. You may not notice it at first. You may even think you are safe or smart. But the man who spends life avoiding challenge will wake up one day, decades later, realizing he has achieved nothing, risked nothing, and become nothing. Confidence doesn't just fade in dramatic moments. It erodes quietly, one soft choice at a time. Purpose, power, and self-respect are built deliberately. You must chase discomfort, seek challenges, break routines. Put yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable on purpose. In training, in work, in relationships, in life. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments that build unshakable confidence. Comfort is seductive, but lethal. Discomfort is terrifying, but alive. Choose the path of growth. Choose the life that tests you. Step into struggle. Embrace the unknown, and watch as your confidence becomes untouchable, forged in fire, while others fade in ease. Easy living is the death of men. Purposeful struggle is their resurrection. One of the most subtle ways men destroy their confidence is by allowing others to define them. It starts small. A casual remark from a friend, a passing comment from a colleague, or even a judgment from a family member can embed itself into your mind. You're lazy. You're not smart enough. You're not capable of this. At first you shrug it off. But the problem is that words have power, especially when repeated over time. The labels stick, slowly shaping your self-perception until you begin to live according to someone else's script rather than your own. Most men don't even realize it's happening. They carry invisible chains of expectation and judgment, shackles forged by the opinions of others. Every decision becomes filtered through the lens of these labels. You start believing that the limits others set for you are real. You start lowering your standards because you've been told who you are. Confidence dies quietly, piece by piece, as you internalize the doubts and fears of others. When you let people define you, you are giving away your power. Your identity becomes borrowed instead of owned. You spend your life performing roles designed by someone else, meeting expectations that were never yours, chasing approval that will never satisfy you. Your self-worth becomes conditional, fragile, and dependent on the very people whose judgment you've internalized. True confidence, the kind that cannot be shaken by outside voices, comes from self-definition. It comes from standing in the mirror and saying, "I define who I am, not you." It comes from understanding that no one else can write your story, dictate your value, or determine your limits unless you allow it. You decide your capabilities. You decide your worth. You decide what you will tolerate, what you will pursue, and what kind of man you will become. Defining yourself is not easy. The world is full of critics, doubters, and men and women who will attempt to put you in a box. You will face resistance, ridicule, and doubt from others, and sometimes from yourself. But every time you reject someone else's label and act in alignment with your own standards, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every act of self-determination reinforces your identity, sharpens your confidence, and distances you from the shadows of others' expectations. Confidence is not about arrogance or ignoring constructive feedback. It's about knowing the difference between input that helps you grow and input that tries to control you. The moment you stop letting labels dictate your behavior, you begin to live authentically. You start making decisions from a place of self-respect, not fear. You take risks, pursue goals, and act boldly because your measure of worth comes from within, not from the judgment of others. Most men never reach this stage. They walk through life carrying identities handed to them by voices that didn't understand their potential. But the man who defines himself refuses to be boxed in. He rejects the labels, shatters the expectations, and rises on his own terms. Remember this: the world will try to tell you who you are. People will attempt to limit you, diminish you, and write your story for you. The question is simple but brutal. Will you let them, or will you claim yourself? Confidence isn't given, it's owned. And the man who owns his identity stands unshakable, untouchable, and unstoppable. The biggest trap most men fall into isn't failure. It isn't rejection. It isn't even fear. It's stagnation. The refusal to reinvent themselves. You cling to old versions of yourself because they feel safe, familiar, and comfortable. The man you were yesterday becomes a cage, holding back the man you were meant to become. Every habit you refuse to change, every thought pattern you cling to, every identity you defend is a link in the chain that keeps you stuck in mediocrity. Reinvention is brutal. It is uncomfortable, disorienting, and often lonely. The man who chooses it must confront his flaws, acknowledge his failures, and admit that who he has been is not enough. He must shed pride, ego, and the illusions of competence that once defined him. He must willingly break the patterns that have kept him small and step into a version of himself that feels foreign, even intimidating. Most men avoid this work. They fear the unknown. They fear losing the identity they've grown comfortable with. They fear that shedding the old will leave them empty, naked, or exposed. But the truth is that staying the same is far more dangerous. Stagnation slowly erodes confidence, ambition, and self-respect. You may feel safe in your routines, your habits, and your comfort zone, but every day you avoid reinvention, you sink deeper into irrelevance. Reinvention is the reset button of a man's life. Every time you shed a weaker identity, the lazy version of yourself, the insecure version, the man who avoided challenges, and step into a stronger one, confidence grows, not instantly, but steadily. With every small win, every disciplined habit, every choice to act rather than hesitate, you rebuild your identity on stronger foundations. The man you become is sharper, more resilient, and more capable of commanding respect. Reinvention requires courage. It requires the willingness to dismantle your ego and rebuild it in a way that serves your highest potential. It requires breaking ties with behaviors, environments, and even people that no longer align with your growth. But the payoff is monumental. A man who reinvents himself continuously refuses to be defined by his past, refuses to settle for mediocrity, and refuses to let fear dictate his trajectory. Every great man you admire has mastered this principle. They have shed identities, habits, and beliefs that no longer serve them. They have embraced change, discomfort, and the unknown, often in private battles that no one else sees. And each time they do, their confidence, power, and influence grow exponentially. Avoiding reinvention is a death sentence for potential. You may continue to exist, but you will never thrive. You may continue to feel adequate, but you will never feel powerful. Real confidence is not static. It is dynamic, alive, and constantly rebuilt through challenge, growth, and transformation. To reinvent yourself is to step into a stronger, sharper version of who you can be. It is to break free from the chains of yesterday and claim the life that has always been possible. Every reinvention, no matter how small, is a declaration. I refuse to stay the same. I refuse to settle. I refuse to be anything less than the man I am capable of becoming. Confidence is not a permanent state. It must be rebuilt, reshaped, and reforged. Reinvention is the hammer that does it. Embrace it, and you stop being a man defined by his past and start becoming the man who defines the future. Confidence isn't magic, it's a series of choices. Today you've learned the hidden ways men sabotage themselves. Now it's on you to break those patterns and rebuild your foundation. The man you want to become is created through discipline, clarity, and self-respect. If you want more videos that cut deep and push you forward, hit that subscribe button and keep leveling up.